dear depression, mental illness, whatever you want to call yourself. I don't like you, but yet I hate you. I know hate is a strong word, but I can't love you. You know why? Because you've done too much damage. You play with our emotions. You play with our mind. You took loved ones away. So why should I love you? I know we're supposed to love our enemies, but you're an enemy that I just can't love. As I sit here and I write this letter, I'm thinking about all the pain that you've caused me. The tears that you've caused me. The deep holes that you place me in at times, and others. I don't like you. And when I knew I really didn't like you was when you took someone close to me away. You took my father away. You planted in his head that he was not worthy enough to continue to live. That what he was dealing with was too much for him to bear, and he was not willing to go through it anymore. You allowed him to believe that my love was not enough for him to stay, that the love of his family was not enough for him to stay. Instead, you planted a seed in his head of doubt, that he just couldn't live on the way he was living. He couldn't handle what he was dealing with at that moment. So you planted in his head suicide. You planted in his head that suicide was the way to go. It was much easier to go out that way than to face the pain, whatever he was going through. You allowed him to separate his bond with his son to not be able to say what it is that he is truly going through. You placed a wedge in between him and his son that his son couldn't even see the pain that his father was going through on the other side of the phone. Enough to know that he might take his life. Me and my father, we talked about everything. We were the best of friends. We had some issues like any father and son did. But once we got through that, and once I grew up and understood that no one's perfect and that parents will make mistakes, me and my father became the closest we've ever came in our lives. We got a chance to fully see each other for who we are. And that was flawed individuals, flawed men who were alike in many ways, who were stubborn. But guess what? They loved each other. And they loved the Lord. So suicide, I hate you. You took someone that was dear to my heart. You did something to me that was so detrimental that you ripped out my heart. You placed me in a hole that was so deep, dark, that I didn't know if I could be pulled out of it. But what you didn't know is that my God I serve is so mighty that he will provide many ways that you will never be able to. He provided a stable system for me. My friends that were there for me to hold me up, to lift me up, to encourage me to keep going, to continue to push forward. Because you took my father away from me. No more phone calls. No more I love you. No more birthday calls. No more birthday calls with him singing to me happy birthday, knowing that he could not sing. But the joy of hearing my father sing happy birthday to me was the highlight of my birthdays each year. But you took that away from me. You took that away from me. I do not have my father here anymore. The pain that I went through was painful. And then when I came to the realization that I only have one parent left, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Not only do I not have my father to call when I have good news or when I have bad news, to help him help me through it, to help me celebrate when there's good news, and to pray when there's bad news. I don't have that anymore. And that is something that I have to live with for the rest of my life. But it's because of you who put that doubt in his mind that his mind was not his anymore. You allowed him to have thoughts that was like a spinning ball going round and round and round and round and could not stop. And the only way that he could make it stop was to put a gun to his head and take his life, while his brother was outside on the porch. You didn't even allow his brother to know that that was in his mind frame and that he was going to not see his brother again when he went outside to have a smoke. Not knowing why he was outside having a smoke, my father was also having a smoke. But not a smoke from a cigarette, but a smoke from a gun. This was enough to make me go insane, to make me go in the same spiral, to take myself out. But you know what? God had another plan for me. God said, son, I have more for you to do. Your time is not up yet. So I'm here on this earth, living life the best that I can. But guess what? Mental illness. Guess what? Depression. You are still here in the midst of it all. You are continuing to dangle that fruit in front of us, thinking that your way is better than God's way. When you keep painting images on the screen of black men being killed down in the street, when we continue to see images of black men being killed in the street unarmed by people that are supposed to serve and protect, you want us to be fearful. You want us to be depressed because that's all we continue to see, like a rerun, like something in syndication. Then you place us in COVID-19. You said if us already losing people to suicide is not enough, if people being in depression is not enough and they get over it, you're going to find ways to put us back in it. You're going to bring COVID. You're going to make us depressed over COVID because some people are not able to work. Some people are not able to see their kids, like me, myself. Some people are not able to provide for their families. Some people just are not used to being in the house or not used to being in the house alone. Suicide, depression, mental illness is the devil's way to destroy us. So it is up to us to continue to pray, continue to build each other up, and make sure that we keep our mental mind strengthened. That we continue to exercise our mind, meditate, because our mind will run rapid. Things will go through our minds where we cannot sleep. Some may say mental illnesses can be a chemical imbalance. Scientifically, that is the case. But it's also up to us to control the mental capacity that we're in, which control the mental thoughts running through our minds. Because twice, depression tried to destroy me. When I was 16 and I lost my cousin to violence in the street, killed over a basketball game, crushed my soul, put me down in a deep, dark place once again. One that I didn't know I could get out of. But I overcame it. God bless me. And then in 2014, I lose my father. After being on the phone with him a couple hours before. But one thing I was very thankful of is that we got to tell each other that I love you to each other. That was important to me because I got to tell my father I love him and he got to say it back to me. And that was our last words. So what the devil created for evil, God is using for good. So with me losing my father to suicide, I became an advocate for suicide prevention and mental health awareness. So no longer depression, mental illness, will you win. I won't love you. And I know I can't hate you, but I will deal with you. I don't like you.